My parents were both pure white foxes, but I came out a mixed fur mutt. My mom went pale with shock. She hid it from my dad and used an ancient secret technique to dye my fur purple, and just like that, I grew up spoiled rotten by my dad. On top of that, on the day I came of age, he lined me up with the most eligible guy in the clan, Xuanyuan Che, as my husband. But who could have guessed? After we married, I gave birth to the lowest of the low, a mixed fur fox, while my sister, a lowly gray fox, gave birth to a rare purple fox. My husband was absolutely furious. He threw me and the baby into a pot of boiling oil, and had us cooked up like a plate of pan-fried fox meat. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day me and my sister were picking husbands. My husband didn't hesitate. He chose my sister. That's when I knew he'd been reborn too. But I just laughed to myself. A mixed fur fraud propped up by spiritual energy. How's he ever going to produce a high-tier fox? The Fox clan has a strict hierarchy, 7 ranks total. From top to bottom, black, white, purple, green, gray, cyan, and dead last, the mixed fur rejects that nobody wants. Black foxes haven't been born in 1,000 years. They're basically a myth now. White foxes are once in a century rare. My father, the clan leader, is the only white fox alive today. His whole dream was for me to pair up with the highest-ranked male fox and produce the next pride of the Fox clan. That's exactly what today's husband selection ceremony was all about. The most prized young male in the clan was none other than my husband from my past life, Xuanyuan Che. The second I opened my eyes, I caught him staring at me with full-on contempt. Just moments before, my father had already picked my match. Princess Gu Ning is of the highest standing. She's a perfect fit for you. I'm making the call. You two are engaged. But Xuanyuan Che gave my father a slight bow. Fox King, I won't marry Princess Gu Ning. The one I want to marry is your second daughter, Gu Yan. The moment those words left his mouth, the entire hall went dead silent. Every fox in the room stared in disbelief. Gu Yan froze for a second, then broke into this smug, gloating grin right at me. I just laughed internally. I'm the legitimate princess. Born of pure blood, always in the spotlight. But Gu Yan? She's just the daughter my father had with some random commoner gray fox on the side. Sure, she's got my father's bloodline, but she's still just a gray fox. Noble families won't touch her, and regular clan members she looks down on. Xuanyuan Che had the nerve to publicly reject my father. My father held back his rage. You're the best of the clan. How can you let feelings get in the way? Producing heirs is your duty. Besides, my daughter Gu Ning has the highest bloodline among all the women. Why won't you take her? Fox King, it's not that I don't want her. It's that she's been hiding the truth. Deceiving everyone. She's not a noble purple fox at all. She's just a mixed fur mutt. The room erupted. Everyone gasped. I gritted my teeth. I knew he was going to say it. My father's fury hit like a wall. Everyone dropped to their knees. Xuanyuan Che, do you have any idea what the punishment is for slandering a princess? Xuanyuan Che didn't even flinch. He gave me a cold, dismissive look. All Princess Gu Ning has to do is reveal her true form, and that'll shut everything down. My handmaid was trembling. Princess, please, and just show him your true form. There's no way you're a mixed fur fox. I stared at Xuanyuan Che, so confident, so arrogant, and slowly clenched my fist. In my past life, after our child was born, he turned what he thought was a purple fox into a mutt, then used every spell he had to destroy my inner core and force me to reveal my true form. My father glared at me with pure disappointment. What are you waiting for? Show your true form right now. Or where does that leave my dignity? My father is a once-in-a-century white fox, no matter who he pairs with. He should never have produced a lowly mixed fur fox. My parents always had a loving marriage. My mother nearly died giving birth to me. After that, my father treasured me like she was his whole world. On her deathbed, my mother said I was a purple fox, and no one ever questioned it. I kept my head down and said nothing, then quietly let out a few words. I'm not a purple fox. My father swallowed his rage and then said with ice-cold venom, Fine! Xuanyuan Che, this king hereby grants you marriage to Gu Yan. Nothing else to say, everyone's dismissed. Xuanyuan Che shot me a enjoy the show look, then slowly walked out. Eventually it was just me and my father left in the hall. He suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood, strip Gu Ning of her title and throw her in the royal dungeon. I wanted to explain myself. I may not be a purple fox, but I'm definitely not some ordinary mixed fur trash. My fur is white with streaks of red running through it. Like my whole body is wrapped in flames. But from start to finish, he never gave me a single chance to explain. He didn't believe me. Not even my mother, who died giving birth to his child. I had to do something for myself. I dropped to my knees and begged, Your daughter was wrong first. Please let me go to the frozen lands as a tribute to offer to the Fox God. The Fox clan has been fading for ages. High-tier foxes fewer and fewer with every generation. To keep the bloodline alive once every 100 years, a young woman is chosen to be offered to the Fox God in exchange for his blessing. I was backed into a corner. This was my last shot. My mother had left me a final message. She said I was special, and that when the time came, I should go to the frozen lands to seek the Fox God. My destiny was waiting there. My father looked at me like he wanted me dead. In the end, it was Gu Yan, after hearing I was basically volunteering to die, who whispered in my father's ear on my behalf. And he finally said yes. I knew she wasn't doing it out of kindness. She just wanted to watch me crash and burn. I went back to my quarters with my handmaid to pack. But Gu Yan couldn't wait. She showed up to rub it in my face. Dressed in the most lavish clothes she'd never worn before, face caked in rouge and powder. She was absolutely living her moment. Gu Yan looked me up and down with pure disdain. Never thought I'd see the day. The almighty Princess Gu Ning. Turns out she's the kind of mixed fur trash even commoners reject. Even as a tribute, why would the Fox God ever want someone like you? Unlike me, Xuanyuan Che personally chose me. The man every woman in the entire Fox clan dreams about. My handmaid stepped up and spoke out, Princess Gu Yan, Just a few days ago, you were begging my princess to find you a good match. How do you flip this fast? Guyan's face changed instantly. She slapped my handmaid hard across the face. I was about to fire back, but I suddenly got hit by some force and got slammed straight to the ground. I looked up. Xuanyuan was standing in the doorway watching me. Guyan announced to the surrounding crowd. She is destined to carry on the White Fox lineage with me. As for someone as lowly and impure as you've already outlived your usefulness. Why are you still standing in front of me? I let out a big laugh. Oh, best of luck having that White Fox, baby. But I knew the truth. There was no way they were having one. One gray fox, one mixed fur mutt. The best they're getting is another mutt. On top of that, Xuanyuan burned through his core, maintaining that fake fur color. He probably can't even have kids. Every ounce of suffering from my past life. Guyan, enjoy every bit of it. I left the palace to everyone's mockery. My father had sealed my powers. I couldn't do a thing, but half a month later, I made it to the temple in the frozen lands. On the very first night, everyone was buzzing with excitement waiting for the fox god to arrive. Then in the middle of the night, a man walked in. Face covered in grime, left leg crippled, hobbling side to side. The whole room panicked, and they chased him right back out. But I noticed, even with that busted leg, his moves were sharp. This was no ordinary guy, so I bolted after him in the chaos. Hey, wait! Where are you going? He turned around and gave me this small smile, and I blacked out. When I came to, it was already the next day. My whole body was aching, and there was a strange mark on my wrist. Everyone from the temple had vanished. All I could do was find my way back to the palace from memory. The moment I stepped up to the gate, everyone freaked out. Because from the beginning of time, no one had ever come back alive from that temple. Yet here I was, walking back in one piece. To them, that was either the best omen or the worst. The royal family called me a deserter, said I abandoned the clan. Nothing I said made a difference, so they came up with a plan. Burn me alive in front of the temple to show respect to the fox god. I was sobbing, begging my father. I don't know what happened. I swear I didn't sneak out on my own. But my father just looked at me stone-faced. Look at her. How many times has she embarrassed me now? Xuanyuan stood nearby, holding up a visibly pregnant Guyan, the two of them enjoying the show. Then the flames suddenly erupted all over my body. I nearly passed out from fear. But after a long moment, the fire wasn't hurting me at all. The mark on my wrist was glowing. Guyan saw I was totally fine, and immediately jumped out to come for me. Guning, what did you do this time? How are you this conniving? Then the high priest shuffled out all dramatically. Perhaps Guning is too lowly. The fox god simply disdains to harm her. The fox god is merciful. Just let her go. The high priest called a doctor to check on me. The doctor barely finished taking my pulse when he dropped a bombshell. She's pregnant. My father's already dark expression got even darker. Guning, get on your knees. You're disgracing the fox god. I'll deal with you myself today. Xuanyuan finally saw his opening. Threw everything he had at me and couldn't scratch me. Guyan rushed in too, slapping me hard across the face. How do you have zero shame? You're a princess and you're already pregnant, and you hooked up with someone behind everyone's back. I noticed Guyan hit me without a trace of spiritual power, so Xuanyuan was going down the same road as last time. Then someone started stirring the pot from the side. The frozen lands are full of strange creatures. The princess probably doesn't even know what she's carrying. I was surrounded by people spitting on me, insults flying from every direction. Some even had the audacity to lunge at me right in front of my father. In the end, they just locked me back up in the palace. But a few days later, someone actually came to ask for my hand. Me, the most talked about scandal in the clan. Guyan burst into my quarters, barely holding it together. Oh wow, sis. Your reputation is completely in the gutter, and someone still wants to pick up the pieces? Word is he's got a bum leg and not much to look at either. Her handmaid chimed right in, slow and graceless. What a perfect match for the princess. I kept my face completely neutral, and smiled back. Thanks for the heads up, sis. Honestly, even a guy with a bum leg beats Xuanyuan any day. And sure enough, the man who showed up, dressed in rags, walking with a full limp, was the exact same guy I'd seen outside the temple that night. My father agreed to the match just to humiliate me. The man moved straight into my palace. I had way too many questions. So I finally just asked, are you actually the fox god? He panicked and immediately covered my mouth. I'm just a regular mixed fur fox living in that temple. How could I possibly be the fox god? You're giving me way too much credit. Then the baby I'm carrying is naturally yours. He played it completely cool, but I wasn't buying it for a second. While me and Guyan were both pregnant, strange things started happening around the palace. Barren land that used to grow nothing suddenly burst with thick vegetation. All kinds of little animals started gaining spiritual awareness. Some even took human form. The high priest rushed to do a divination, said something auspicious was coming soon. Xuanyuan was ecstatic. It must be the child Guyan is carrying, the future glory of the Fox clan. Guyan ate it up and played her dad like a fiddle. Father, I'm carrying precious cargo right now. Grant me a favor, have my sister wait on me personally. I flat out refused to be their personal maid, but my father used my unborn child as leverage. If you don't go, that thing you give birth to is getting fed to the dogs. And that crippled husband of yours, I'll have him beaten to death. For the sake of my child and my husband, I had no choice but to go. One day I dozed off. My body felt completely drained, like I just couldn't wake up. Then the mark on my wrist flashed a few times. I forced myself up, and found Xuanyuan collapsed on the floor, coughing up blood. So that was their plan all along, drain my spiritual energy. When it didn't work, Xuanyuan absolutely lost it. You're disgusting, and whatever you're carrying is no good either. He stormed out in a rage, and in that moment, I caught a brief flicker of his true form. Just as I'd suspected, he was actually a gray fox. Later that day, I went back to Xuanyuan's estate with Gu Yan. In the afternoon, I spotted Xuanyuan Che, pale as a ghost, sneaking off in a specific direction. Once he confirmed no one was watching, he relaxed, triggered some hidden mechanism behind a tree, and disappeared below. After he came back up, I quietly copied exactly what he did and triggered the mechanism myself. What I saw down there completely blew my mind. Once I got down there, I saw something absolutely insane. Almost every single woman who'd gone to that frozen wasteland with me was there. They all looked completely worn out, and so many of them had gone totally gray. Some of the higher-ranked foxes already had visible baby bumps. I was floored. My jaw literally dropped. The woman who'd humiliated me the worst threw herself at me. "Princess Guning, please, save us. We can't hold on any longer." Even after I walked out of that underground palace, I still felt like none of it was real. I'd been married to Xuanyuan Che for so long in my past life, and I had no idea that he was capable of something this monstrous. But I knew the timing wasn't right yet. I had to swallow it and wait. A few months later, as Gu Yan and I were both close to giving birth, something strange happened in the sky. Red light was churning across the sky for miles. The high priest rushed outside the palace and knelt. "This is a blessing. A white fox must be coming into the world." Father was beyond excited. "A white fox? Yes, I've been waiting hundreds of years for this day." Right then, Gu Yan and I both doubled over in pain at the same time, and of course she just had to gloat. "I just know it's my child!" Already stealing the spotlight before he's even born. Who knows what kind of freak you've got in there? How dare it share a birthday with my son? Every single royal ceremony got redirected to Gu Yan's quarters. Mine had only my husband by my side. I was a nervous wreck. What if I give birth to just some plain mixed fur fox? What then? He kept smiling and reassuring me. "It's fine. No matter what, it's our child. I'll protect her always." And then I passed out from the pain. A while later, I suddenly heard commotion outside. "It's here! It's arrived! Our clan's guardian has welcomed a white fox, a symbol of divine fortune. This is the greatest glory our clan has ever seen." I scrambled up to check and found my baby, wrapped in a chaotic swirl of mismatched colors. My heart just sank. In our clan, newborns are shrouded in spiritual energy blessed by the fox god. You can't see their true form right away. It takes a few months to know what rank they are. But everyone knows the patterns by now. White fox energy is pure white. Blue fox energy has a blue tint. And my baby's aura? Just a mess of clashing colors that wasn't changing. It all pointed to one thing. I'd given birth to a mixed fur fox. My husband and I lifted our baby with our spiritual energy and headed to the royal shrine. We just prayed the fox god would keep her safe. Gu Yan and Xuanyuan Che showed up with a whole entourage, making a massive scene bringing their child over too. Gu Yan had just given birth and looked completely drained, but she still came at me with her mouth. "Take that sketchy kid of yours and get out of my sight." Her voice was loud, but there was zero confidence behind it. I took a closer look. She was aging at an insane rate. Wrinkles had taken over her eyes and mouth. Her eyes had lost their shine, and there were already streaks of white in her hair. I wasn't surprised, because in my past life, that was exactly what happened to me after giving birth. Nobody ever said, "A mixed fur fox can't enter the shrine." Gu Yan smirked. "Well, of course there's no rule, because the royal family has never produced a mixed fur fox before. You better grab that thing and get out. The fox god won't bless it." Before she even finished, a crowd of clanspeople swarmed us. "Get out! Get lost!" I was still weak from giving birth. My husband had a disability, and we were being shoved toward the exit. Suddenly, Xuanyuan Che called out and told them to let that nobody stay right where she was. I was confused. Why was he being nice today? Then he turned and looked at me with pure contempt. "You and Gu Yan gave birth on the same day, so your kids will reveal their true forms on the same day. When my child turns out to be a white fox, a divine sign from the heavens, and yours is some scrappy little mutt standing right next to it, now how embarrassing is that going to be?" He was grinning like he'd already won. I didn't care at all, because I knew my child was anything but ordinary. Waiting for a child to reveal their true form is a long process. I went to the shrine every single day just to talk to my baby. My husband and I gave our child a beautiful name, Wen Xuan. We wanted him to be refined and dignified, with a noble presence. Around that time, word got out that Gu Yan's palace had been losing servants left and right. Everyone was on edge and panicking, but I knew exactly who was behind it. Xuanyuan Che. 1 month later, it was finally time for the children to emerge from their spiritual cocoons. My husband and I got dressed up and headed out to welcome our baby. Outside, it was loud. It was packed. Pure chaos. Then someone screamed, "Look! It's happening again! Red clouds rolling for miles and like actual fire in the sky. Is this a sign that our fox clan is about to rise?" My husband and I stood together in the crowd, waiting. My heart was pounding. I heard some people whispering, "They can't even produce a purple fox, so where's this white fox coming from?" Then suddenly, the energy around Gu Yan's child began to fade. Once it cleared, a fox with a completely chaotic matted coat stumbled out. But the scariest part? It had barely been born, yet it already looked like some ancient, decrepit old fox. It looked up at Gu Yan with teary eyes and wailed, "Mother!" "It hurts. It hurts so bad." Its voice sounded like a frail old man. In an instant, Gu Yan and Xuanyuan Che both froze. The looks on their faces were absolutely awful. Gu Yan watched the little fox hobbling toward her, and just collapsed to the ground. No way. There is no way that's my child. My child is supposed to be a white fox. What even is this ugly thing? She looked at me, eyes full of rage. "You switched them. You tampered with our child. Something this low class could never be my child." She lunged at me the next second. Father's expression darkened. "Foxes have instincts. They don't misidentify their parents. This is ridiculous." I just smiled and watched these two who'd been on top of the world just minutes ago. Zhuan Yuanche turned to me with pure venom in his eyes. You really think you and that cripple you call a husband could produce anything worth a damn? Then, the spiritual energy around my child suddenly surged, way thicker than before. The red light blazing across the sky slowly started flowing into his body. The crimson energy kept building and building, until father suddenly gasped. Could this be a red fox? My heart skipped. I turned to look at my husband, and he didn't look surprised at all. That glowing red orb kept growing, until it was stories tall. Then it exploded. Spiritual energy blasted in every direction. I forced my eyes open and looked at the little fox wrapped in that blazing energy. It was completely scarlet, coat shining bright. Like a ball of living fire slowly drifting toward the crowd. Father stepped forward, fell to his knees, and bowed. A red fox walks among us. This is the sign our fox clan will prosper. The rest of the clan dropped to their knees one after another. May our clan rise eternal and flourish forever. The little fox suddenly leaped onto me, tail wagging back and forth. Nuzzled me a few times, then sweetly called out, Mother. The overwhelming pressure faded, and he started wriggling around on me just like any normal baby would. Gu Yan's eyes lit up, and she lunged forward. I'm your mother, that's my child. But before she could even touch him, my child sent her flying 10 meters back. She hit the ground spitting blood. I was stunned. I genuinely did not expect a newborn to already have power like that. Zhuan Yuanche still refused to accept it. How is this even possible? A mixed fur fox and a crippled fox. How could they possibly produce a red fox? Did you dye it? Just putting on a show? The fox elder overheard Zhuan Yuanche and got curious. He walked up to us. Princess Gu Ning, would you mind showing your true form? I nodded. I'd been waiting for this moment for way too long. I called up my power and revealed my true self, a coat of pure snow-white fur before everyone's eyes. But around my eyes and brows there were threads of flame, glowing red. The fox elder paused for a second, then spoke with wide eyes. This is a flame fox. You all are completely blind. A flame fox is the rarest existence in the entire fox clan. Pure white coat but carrying the traits of a red fox. This only happens once in 10,000 years. The moment he finished, everyone collectively gasped. Father was so shocked he couldn't even get a word out. Zhuan Yuanche's face twisted completely. How? That's impossible. If you're this high and mighty, then why did you give birth to a mixed fur fox for me in your past life? I smiled and laid everything out. The most noble fox in the younger generation? You're not a purple fox at all. You're a mixed fur fox. You've been draining other people's inner cores just to keep up your looks. You destroyed me in my past life, and you destroyed Gu Yan in this one. You survive off stolen energy, and your bloodline is hollow. The moment a woman carries your child, she gets drained. Her power, her life force, all of it non-stop. When I got pregnant in my past life, my power vanished fast. I looked ancient while I was still young. Gu Yan had it even worse. She was only a blue fox to begin with. Nowhere near enough energy to feed you, so she got torn apart even faster. And because the energy wasn't enough, the child that came out was broken from the start. Zhuan Yuanche looked like something clicked, and he whipped around screaming at my husband. Then what is he? You're a flame fox. So he's gotta be some worthless mixed fur fox. You traded down so hard this life. The fox elder walked over to my husband. Would you mind showing your true form as well? My husband glanced at me with a smile, stood still, and let his spiritual energy spiral around him. His true form slowly emerged, and in that moment my eyes went wide. His true form was massive, way bigger than father, by several times. Just like my child, completely crimson. His coat was pure and brilliant, and most importantly, 9 massive tails swayed behind him. A 9-tailed red fox. Every single person's mind went blank. Just 2 words. Fox God. The first ones to snap out of it started screaming in a panic. The rest dropped to the ground one by one. The pressure coming off my husband was so overwhelming that they couldn't even lift their heads. Not long after, my husband shifted back to human form, completely different from how he'd looked before. He was strikingly handsome, strong, composed, full of presence. He turned to me with a warm smile. I've been hiding this from you. Please don't be mad. Our child needed an enormous amount of spiritual energy. I had to pour it into you every single night. If I'd revealed who I was back then, jealous people would have come after you, and I wasn't sure I could have kept you safe. He simply looked in Zhuan Yuanche's direction, and Zhuan Yuanche let out a blood-curdling scream. His true form ripped into view in front of everyone, and sure enough, a mixed fur fox, and Gu Yan's broken little fox, it was now pinning Gu Yan down, draining her life force. It had started gnawing at her flesh, all while mumbling, Mother, I'm so hungry. You taste so good. Gu Yan was too weak to fight back. In the end, she was killed by her own child. That little mixed fur fox was still starving. It tried to go after others next. My husband had it locked up on the spot. With that little bit of power, you really thought you could cause a scene at the royal shrine? And Zhuan Yuanche? Still not done stirring things up. Zhuan Yuanche still wouldn't calm down. He charged straight at me, but got blasted back by some unseen force. Badly injured, he collapsed on the ground. All I heard was his voice full of regret. Give me one more chance. I know I can make the right call. I just shook my head. Zhuan Yuanche had blood on his hands, countless clansmen dead because of him. He deserved no mercy. But I wasn't about to let him off that easy. I led everyone to Zhuan Yuanche's underground palace. It had been months since my last visit, and even though I'd seen it before, seeing it again still made my blood run cold. Countless young women, now white-haired and frail. The ones who'd given birth, just like Gu Yan, had been worked to death. Cries filled the air. Their parents held them, sobbing. And then the full truth came to light. Zhuan Yuanche's family had been using forbidden arts. They'd manipulated my father into sending women as offerings, then secretly moved them down here. The ones they deemed ugly or lowborn were used to power up Xuan Yuanche's abilities. The pretty ones were used to bear children. He'd forced these women to give birth to God knows how many monsters. My husband waved his hand, and the surviving women slowly began to recover. He stared at Xuan Yuanche with pure disgust, then flicked his finger. Xuan Yuanche dropped to the ground screaming, his soul being crushed piece by piece. The survivors rushed him like they'd lost their minds, tearing him apart every way they could. He died there, a bloody mess. My father watched it all. Tears started streaming down his face. He turned to me, full of regret. It's my fault. I listened to rumors and blamed you for things you didn't do. Let's just be a family again, together. The Fox clan follows the strongest. Now that the Red Fox and Flame Fox have appeared, Father, I think it's time you step down. He had nothing to say to that, but I could still see the bitterness in his eyes. Can I at least stay by your side? I know, Guning. You've always been devoted to me. I smiled, but not warmly. When people lied about me, you never once let me defend myself. Then you tried to have me killed, more than once. Whatever we had as father and daughter, that's long gone. My husband was the Fox God. He couldn't get involved in mortal affairs. Our child was still an infant, so in the end, it was me who took the throne. That's when I finally learned the truth about my mother. She had been a minor fox spirit from the heavens. She fell for my father, a mortal, and willingly gave up everything, becoming an ordinary fox to be with him. She must have seen it coming, that my identity would bring me nothing but trouble. So she left behind words that ended up saving my life. Word was that she had already reincarnated, but the will of heaven couldn't be revealed to me. All I knew was that she was living a happy life now. That was enough for me. To end the discrimination against fur color, I built schools and had the most gifted teach others how to practice magic. I also abolished the rule that ranked clan members by the color of their fur. The techniques Xuan Yuanche had used were forbidden arts. He'd destroyed too many lives for his own gain. His entire family was sentenced to the harshest punishment. Soul and spirit, completely erased. I banished my father. He set off toward the frozen wastelands, and was beaten to death by a pack of low-rank foxes along the way. Under my rule, the Fox clan grew stronger than ever. Eventually, my son Wen Xuan took over. He was even more capable than me. His beloved wife gave him several children, and everything just kept moving in the right direction. One quiet morning, my husband and I slipped away from the Fox clan. The Fox, God couldn't stay in the mortal world forever, and I had built up enough merit during my reign to be granted the right to ascend. So we left, together, for the heavens. In the centuries that followed, the Fox clan flourished. Legends rose one after another, and the story of me and my husband became a timeless tale passed down through the ages.